Travis says, do you think the Dodgers go after Kyle Tucker?
I don't know. I mean, he's a great player. I think if they can improve the outfield, they will. I know they have great interest in Tio Hernandez, which they should. He was tremendous. I think the rate for him went up when Soto signed. I know Sasaki is at the top of their list, and that's not necessarily a money deal. That's really a convincing a player of your culture, your city, your desire to win, and the people that he's going to have call teammates. San Diego may have a shot at that. But I think the Dodgers are the front runner. I mean, you got Yamamoto and you got, Shohei, and you've got a front office that has dealt with, even in my day with Saito and Kuroda, has had Japanese players before. We've had tremendous experiences there. So you have the history of all of that. The outfield, I think Tucker's going to cost you something.
Yeah.
And do you have that much to deal? And doesn't Houston? Houston's got a good club.
Yeah, right? They're talking about, who knows if it's true, if again what we talked about earlier about these rumors, Valdez and Kyle Tucker. But I would think the Dodgers were to go after Tucker, it would cost them Cartea and a couple other pieces right now. Now, the closer you wait till the trade deadline, I think that's the smarter move, because he's 2.5 months from free agency, not going to cost you as much. And we know the Dodgers, or I should say, the Dodgers know very well they're going to be in a position of a playoff position where they can wait till then. So
yeah, I don't know. I think it's obviously anytime you can add a player of that talent, you got to have an interest.
Now we got another question from George Curry. Would you go after Burns, or would you give Burns a 7 or 8 year deal?
Great question. I signed Clayton to 7 years. Somebody I'd known since he was 18, had won 3 Cy Youngs, or had won 2, was going to win a 3rd MVP coming up. And it wasn't easy doing 7 years with a pitcher. You have to be prepared that there's not going to be a season full of 30 game starts. If you can live with that, then you do it. If you're not going to be there when it goes down, it's another thing. But that's the going rate too. So how many years did Max get?
7. No, 8. 8. He got 8.
So you're gonna tell, who's gonna tell Burns that he can't get 8?
When you do that, though, Ned, if you say, well, if you want to go 8, I can't give you 40. I give you 6 and 40. And you're going to go 8. I'm going to have to bring that down, because is that how it works?
Sure. But you're also going to expect him to make more than Max.
Right. Yeah, he's going to definitely top 218.
So the chances are that he's going to get himself 8. That's, if somebody said, what do you think it's going to be? I'd say he's going to get 8.
Well, I'll bet you he gets 30. It's 8 and 30 for a 240 deal. That's my.
That makes sense.
Guess. Snell got 5.
That makes sense, but that's
Snell got 5 and 36 million AAV, but his was 182, right? Snell, 182.
Yep.
So
wow. It's safe to say that setup relievers should be demanding a lot more money nowadays, since starters are not going deep into games as much to bridge to the closer, I would think, right?
No doubt. You're paying more for starting pitching than you ever did, and they actually do less.
Yeah, they're going to go. Do you see a 6-man rotation becoming a baseball thing, or just a few teams?
God.
Well, I think it'll start with a few teams, and then it'll evolve into 6 across the board. You still have to have 6. Half the teams don't have 5.
Dang, I'm
So
gonna start.
what you're going to have is,
6. I'm gonna start
rather than
working
a
out.
6-man rotation, you're going to have more games with openers.
Lowe's, you want to go out and play some catch tomorrow? Work on our arms, see if we can come back.
Well,
I was at a carnival recently, and I thought I had a pretty good arm. And when I hit 62, I was quite humbled and walked away.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, guys.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, not close.
Here's a great question from Aaron, one of our members. What do you think, Ned? Is it likely we see a work stoppage when the CBA expires in 26?
I don't think so. I think both sides are doing well. Franchise values keep going up. Streaming monies or platform monies keep going up. Salaries keep going up. I think you'll see some things adjusted, but I don't see any of the major issues being there. I wonder, an issue that I don't hear anybody talking about, but it's one of the things I think, in my opinion, caused the 1994 strike was the lack of parity.
Wow.
Maybe, I'm not sure if it was a strike or, what it was. It stopped the game, stopped the World Series. Part of the reason was it was before revenue sharing, I think, and before luxury tax, and teams couldn't compete. And so you had the haves and the have-nots. And as you look at it now, somebody wrote, I don't know if it's fact or fiction, but somebody wrote that Soto's average annual value contract is higher than the A's payroll. So you have one player making more than 26. How does that work? Do we think the A's have a chance to compete in the AL West? Do we think Colorado has a chance to compete in the NL West? Do we think that even the Giants have a chance to compete in the NL West? Do we think Pittsburgh has a chance to compete in the, in the Central? Do we think Florida has a chance to compete in the East? And pick your own American League teams on the other side. There's probably 6 to 10 teams. They go into spring training knowing they got no shot.
That's tough.
And fans know they've got no shot. So, yeah, you're going to, buy a ticket here and there because you love the sport. Are you going to do it once a week when the team's home? Are you going to do it 40 times a year, 20 times a year? I don't know.
Ned, do you see the owners asking for a salary cap?
I don't think you'll ever see a salary cap in Major League Baseball. I think you'll see a cap after the game gets shut down for 2 years. I don't think they ever go for it. They haven't gone for it yet.
That's real. It's the truth.
And
Ned,
what's the argument? Your revenues are great. That some of you don't spend the money, that's on you. That some of you aren't as creative on deferrals as the Dodgers have been, is that the player's fault? I mean, I'm just taking an agent's perspective.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Is that whose fault is that? Is that my player's fault that he can't make what Ohtani's making, or he's as good, or he's better than Juan Soto? You're telling me that we're capped?
Ned, we watched Barry Bonds break the all-time home run record in 2001. Yep. You mentioned 94 in the strike. Do you think that this player right here would have broken Babe Ruth's record first in 1994 if it had not been for the strike?
You're talking about Matty Williams right there.
Yep, that's right. Yep. Matty Williams. I can show you there. There he is. Oops. Matt Williams over.
He was on a roll that year.
Hey, look, he hit 43 home runs in 112 games. That's every 2.4 games he was hitting. So he had 50 games left. He would have, on average, it said he would have hit 24 more. So that would have given him 67. Do you think he would have broke it that year, or do you think the pressure would have been so great because nobody had come close?
Well, I hate these types of questions. What if?
Yeah.
Two words in sport that drive everybody crazy. I think he got into the high 50s at least, and it's tough to say how it would have went after that.
Wow.
You saw the stress that Maris had to go through in 61?
Yeah.
By the way, I love that movie with 61 with him and Mantle. Billy Crystal directed it. That's a very underrated baseball movie.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, that was.
It's hard to say. It's hard to have conjecture with that.
Yeah, it was just a phenomenal year. It was a shame. They didn't even finish the year that year, did they? No World Series winner that year. Wow.
Stopped in early August, I think.
And baseball survived that. We were talking about revenue and everything, and the fans were pissed off for a little while, but
it was tough too. I mean, that's when I got hired in San Francisco.